We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting.
An internal source from the police department has allegedly turned against Tiffany, sharing sensitive information with authorities. They have leaked details that might link Henyard to ongoing investigations, raising serious concerns about her actions and connections.
And that's all I got to say, and there's nothing you can do about it.
People are even picking up on her vocabulary. Stop messing with her. Tiffany Henyard, hoodwinked, bamboozled. She forgot the grandstanding part. But anyway, as we go deeper into the meeting, they kind of start to bring forward the issue with the city of Dalton on how they're losing money. Now, they would always talk about it, but now it's starting to reach reality to where, as you know, layoffs will be taking place. And also they're trying to sell certain buildings. Now, if you guys remember Tiffany Henyard's dream to build a swimming pool so all the black babies could learn how to swim, I don't know what she's on, but she wants to have a swimming pool segued with a police station. Like people want to go and swim next to the police station. But anyways, we're going to hear what Kiana Belcher had to say about the whole situation and her plans, or the village's plans, on selling that building.
The state of Dalton is reportedly facing serious financial consequences as authorities have decided to stop transferring funds to the city due to growing concerns about money laundering. The scandal allegedly involves high-ranking officials, including Mayor Tiffany Henyard, leading to a major loss of trust in the city's financial management. Claims of fund misuse and possible illegal activities have pushed state authorities to take drastic action, including cutting off financial support until a full investigation is completed.
The state of Illinois announced that they will stop sending money to the state, to the county of Illinois, of Dalton, and Lori Lightfoot, I have to admit, I was wrong. But later on, more. RJ.
Yeah, Tiffany Henyard keeps on keeping on. She is a super mayor, super delusional. And KR, you know what the thing is? If you only follow her, then you would think that she's doing, like she's successful, right? Like a good manager would. Diligently, responsibly, not putting your own interest before the interest of the collective.
Yep.
And the financial reports are one of the ways that the public can see transparently what you did with the resources that were at your disposal. Now, if you're already under fire because there's a lot of suspicion of how you're moving.
In a controversial twist, Tiffany Henyard is facing accusations of using the local police force for her personal benefit. Reports indicate that instead of focusing on serving the community, the police have been redirected to handle tasks that directly benefit Henyard.
Stealing, okay, misusing, as they've been saying, taxpayer money, spending upwards of $3.5 million, or at least driving the town's money straight into the doggone dirt. Now, one of her main cops, one of the cops that was on her payroll, man, this guy was getting paid some serious ducats, all right? This dude was making upwards of, he collected about over $200,000 just from the mayor itself due to overtime and protection on the mayor. Let's be real. Then also, if he was such a good cop, then why was he forcibly kicked out? Why was he fired? If he was such a good cop, why was he exposed and kicked out and fired? Something to think about.
A concerning situation has unfolded as one of Tiffany Henyard's officers has been declared bankrupt. This has sparked widespread speculation about the financial stability and trustworthiness of the people she has employed.
We've got a dirty cop out here, or at least a dirty cop at the time, working for Tiffany Henyard, taking all that money and, I don't know, stuffing it into his mattress at night. I don't know. But he clearly was trying to hide his assets, trying to hide the money that he was actually gaining so that he would not lose that money. which is absolutely crazy to me. But that also shows you the kind of company that Tiffany Henyard was keeping. Okay, you are what you eat. You are the company that you keep, so on and so forth. You can use every single saying under the sun to describe or to talk about this particular situation. But to me, you can see clear as day that this guy is corrupt, and I guarantee you, he's not the only one that's corrupt in this group. Tiffany Henyard, I'm sure, was all about it as well and was totally engaging in this whole situation as well. What's interesting about this as well is that we can definitely see that the tension is starting to tighten, right? The focus is starting to zero in slowly but surely into Tiffany Henyard. If they're going after the deputy chief of police, one of her men that was part of her security detail, it's only a matter of time that herself and anybody else that was connected to that money is going to go down with them.
The bankruptcy filing has raised questions about the vetting process and the qualifications of those Henyard has appointed to the city's administration.
We don't know who has what. Ma'am, this is a room full of people who just got off work and senior citizens and people who care about their community. Nobody's out here finna just crash out and shoot up the place for you. It's not that deep. Come on. Me throwing my life away for her? Insanity. Nobody's thinking that way. You're a crooked thug in the mayor position. She's gonna assassinate herself at the end of the day anyway. No need for anybody to be on that type.
Allegations have emerged that the security detail meant to protect the citizens of Dalton has been largely focused on safeguarding Mayor Tiffany Henyard. These claims suggest that security resources are being used disproportionately for Henyard's personal safety instead of addressing the community's broader needs.
Tiffany Henyard is the most controversial mayor in all of America. So this mayor named Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of a place called Dalton, Illinois. And essentially every single resident in Dalton wants Tiffany out of office. This is mainly because Tiffany's very controversial use of taxpayer money. For starters, Tiffany has a full security detail that goes everywhere with her in the town. This security detail is estimated to be about $250K a year. In addition to security, Tiffany also uses taxpayer funds to do things like buying billboards with her face and name on it.
Tiffany Henyard's time in office has reportedly been more controversial than any other mayor in Dalton's history, with allegations ranging from misuse of public funds to unethical practices. Her leadership has been marked by scandals described as divisive and has led to multiple investigations and public backlash.
She also puts her name all over government vehicles and buildings throughout the town, and she even has her own 2024 calendar, and of course she put her own birthday in the calendar. Now, in addition to all of this, Tiffany has also made it extremely hard for anyone to run against her. Currently, she makes around $225K a year. However, if someone were to run against her and win, they would not be getting anywhere close to what Tiffany's making. This is because Tiffany is proposing a 90% cut in her salary, but only if someone who is not her is elected. This would drop the pay from $225K to just $25K. Yet even with that massive pay cut, people still want to run against Tiffany just so they can get her.
This has fueled growing frustration among residents who feel their safety is being compromised in favor of the mayor's personal interests.
Really think that Lewis is going to step down without taking a few other people down with him? I'm sure he's going to start squawking as soon as he gets thrown into a jail cell. Wait for it, guys, because it's coming. And for Tiffany Henyard, Mayor, we can use that for now, okay? So Mayor Tiffany Henyard, let me tell you something. It's coming for you. It's coming.
Amid allegations of misusing her security detail, Tiffany Henyard has defended her actions, stating that the security provided to her fully complies with the law. Henyard has faced criticism for what some consider excessive and unnecessary security measures. However, she insists that her actions are justified, pointing to the legal provisions that back her claims.
Your critics say that you have a significant security detail. First of all, how large is your police department in Dalton, and what is your security detail?
So we have about 45 officers in our village. My security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature, but what people are not stating is it's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it come with the seat. That's what people not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this and say, I want security.
In response to increasing concerns about Mayor Tiffany Henyard, financial management authorities have reportedly called a special meeting to examine her alleged spending. The purpose of the meeting is to review how city funds are being allocated and implement measures to ensure accountability.
Happening here tonight in South Holland, a special meeting called by the Thornton Township Board of Trustees. They have a number of items on the agenda looking to curtail spending that they say is being done by Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who is also township supervisor. We should also mention that the township is now into its new fiscal year and still without a budget.
In a move that has ignited considerable controversy, Tiffany Henyard has allegedly dismissed the Dalton police chief for conducting an investigation into her activities. This investigation reportedly centered on allegations of misconduct and financial irregularities involving Henyard.
He fired the chief of police because he was investigating all of those credit card receipts and all those claims of her funneling taxpayer dollars into her privately owned cancer awareness charity, which you cannot do. And in one of those investigations that the chief of police was investigating, it stated here in this tweet, and shout out to this person for tweeting this, they said Mayor Tiffany Henyard is one of the most corrupt ever. She actually hired a child offender, overpays her police officers. She does. She overpays her police officers to be her security, which what do you need that much security for? You're a mayor of a town with about 20,000 people. One of the officers was paid $13,000 in 2 weeks for 300 hours of overtime. Because nobody believes that. Nobody believes that anybody worked 300 hours of overtime. So this has to be investigated because it looks like these numbers were being padded. So the chief of police, or the ex-chief of police, had his attorney investigate these claims, and they're standing behind them that there were allegations of corruption, and he was investigating.
Sudden termination has sparked public outcry, with many accusing Henyard of trying to silence those seeking to hold her accountable. This alleged firing has further deepened the mistrust between Henyard and the community.
Super City Girl Mayor Tiffany Henyard, I have been following this story for weeks. She should have been in jail yesterday, and it wouldn't even be her first time there. She has embezzled hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. She has defrauded her taxpayers, and she has the city in a $7 million deficit. And that's the tip of the iceberg. Her charity has been shut down by the state government after it's found out she spent tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on nothing. Like when she spent 10 grand on a weekend bicycle trip to the capital of Illinois, Springfield, in support of a bill that was never filed when the state legislation wasn't even in session. And the $17,000 that she spent on merch. She says that she doesn't have a foundation. She's not involved in it. Like, bestie, your name's on it. There's the small fact that her personal security detail works not just double overtime, but triple overtime, often clocking as much as 200 hours in a single 2-week pay period, which is usually 80, and one guy clocked 303 hours. Should we talk about the Vegas thing? She flew first class to Vegas on the town's card, racked up over $8,000 in hotel costs with zero business justification or even explanation about what they were doing there. There's also the lawsuit and FBI investigation into the SA that occurred there to her personal assistant, who she then fired immediately after reporting.
In a surprising turn of events, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has reportedly been brought in to lead an investigation into the alleged corruption within Tiffany Henyard's administration. Lightfoot, who has her own controversial history, is now responsible for uncovering the truth behind the numerous accusations against Henyard.
Of Turtle Boy's interview with the juror from Karen Reed's trial. I already posted part 1, so go ahead and watch that first and then come back here. So they were asked, what did you think of Michael Proctor's testimony? Michael Proctor was mentioned every single day of this trial, so to say he was someone I was anxiously waiting to hear from would be an understatement. I was obviously disappointed that an officer of the law behaved in a way that showed so little integrity and didn't uphold their oath to protect and serve our community. I do not agree with his behavior when it came to the investigation and understand that the behavior was a critical part of the trial for the defense. I wish it hadn't come down to reading texts in open court where he essentially dehumanized Karen. None of it had anything to do with the core facts of the case, but it was a bit of an eye-opening to hear how investigators are discussing things amongst our law enforcement. They felt it hurt the Commonwealth that the lead investigator wasn't there to testify solely about the outcome of the investigation, but to testify about his actions throughout the investigation. Did you find Colin Albert's testimony believable? I found Colin to be purposely elusive when asked questions that he was
This move has reportedly raised eyebrows, with some questioning whether Lightfoot, considering her own history, is the right person to lead such an important inquiry.
We can all agree that none of us have ever slipped on ice while holding a solo cup and broken our falls with just our knuckles. It's good to know that this jury is not taking people's just word on things. Did you believe Colin Albert was inside Brian Albert's house? I know that at some point Colin Albert was in the house. That was proven beyond a reasonable doubt. But whether he was there past the time he stated is not as clear. I do put weight on Allie McCabe seeming to slip up during the part of her testimony where she stated that Colin wasn't in the house when John was. I could believe that is the truth, but that statement also put John...
As part of the ongoing investigation, Lightfoot has reportedly uncovered that police officers in Dalton were being overpaid under the Tiffany Henyard administration. These findings indicate potential financial irregularities in the distribution of salaries and benefits among the police force. Henyard may soon face legal action that could result in prison time due to a series of alleged exposes. The growing evidence against her, including claims of financial mismanagement, misuse of public resources, and other unethical behaviors, has placed her in a precarious legal situation.
This story is so messed up, you think you're watching an episode of Black Mirror. But for Jeffrey Piccolo and his wife, Dr. Kennecorn Tangswin, their trip to the most magical place on earth became a living nightmare last October, when they sat down for what they believed to be a normal dinner at the Raglan Road Irish Pub and Restaurant in the Disney World Resort Park. Dr. Tangswan, like so many people, had dietary restrictions, in this case severe food allergies to all dairy and nut products. They asked the staff of the restaurant several times to confirm that her food would not contain those allergens, and they were told unequivocally that they did not. She collapsed 45 minutes later because of a severe allergic reaction and was pronounced dead at the local hospital. And this is where this already tragic story becomes truly dystopian. After he rightfully filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Disney for the passing of his wife, Jeffrey Piccolo was told by Disney that he waived any of his rights to ever sue them when he signed up for a free trial of Disney Plus in 2019. He wasn't even asking for a lot of money, given that he lost his wife, and to get slapped in the face by Disney like this, saying that, oh, well, you just needed to read the terms and conditions, is insane. They also made the incredibly weak argument that because the restaurant is not owned or operated by Disney, they are not at all liable for what happens at their parks. Disney's continual fall from grace needs to be studied. And no amount of money will ever fill the hole in that family's heart.
A deeply troubling development, Tiffany Henyard is alleged to have covered up a highly sensitive case during her time in office. The allegations indicate that rather than addressing the situation openly and fairly, Henyard opted to conceal the details from the public and may have obstructed justice.
This young lady said she went to the mayor to try and, explain what happened. The mayor said, I'll take care of this. Don't worry. And then she gets put on FMLA and loses her job. Could something have been done differently by the mayor, who she looked up to, this young lady?
Absolutely. She herself should have launched an investigation. This happened on your watch. You should have taken action immediately. Absolutely. You have a daughter. Do you not feel anything? Absolutely. To do that, you have a daughter. You have an obligation to this village. You are the leader. To let something like that go by and not get involved. You are just as much, oh my God. Everybody should be prosecuted to the full extent. Everyone involved, even if you knew about it and you covered it up, you as well should take part of this blame here. You should take fault. Something should happen to you as well. If you know something, say something. This trustee always speaks. If you know something, say something. Well, you've done something and you said nothing.
Girl from Trips and Trucks to...
It has been alleged that Tiffany Henyard used taxpayer money to fund personal trips, which would be a serious misuse of public funds. If these claims are proven true, they suggest that Henyard may have used city resources to cover travel expenses that had no official purpose, thereby violating the trust of Dalton residents.
Of misusing taxpayer money to pay for lavish trips for herself and collecting a combined salary with the supervisor position and her mayor position of $287,000. This is a small town in Illinois, 20,000 people. The highest salary in our U.S. government is $400,000, and she's making just under $300,000. Now, before we go even further, just so you have a bit of an idea of some of the antics that Tiffany will pull off, this is her at a local public meeting dressed up as an infamous criminal kingpin named Nino Brown.
Are so serious that even some local businesses are saying that their licenses and things that they need are not getting renewed after they made decisions to cut off ongoing financial donations to her campaign. So it's a pretty big deal, and this is one of the things that she was questioned on. She has this foundation, a cancer research foundation, that people are also wanting an investigation into, as she has not disclosed how she has used taxpayer money in that foundation.
That's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.